All right. Okay, so the Walpurgis, Ishmael, and Gregor were just revealed, or well, their kit was just revealed. And if I take too long to get to the point, then I will probably make this into a video summary and then leave that in the description unless I can get through it fast enough. All right, so we're just gonna start right now because why not? Okay, so I have looked over the kits a little bit, and I think Ishmael definitely looks like the stronger of the two. And it's mainly because of her skill 3 enhanced version. Well, it's not even really her skill 3. It's just, she basically just gets an extra skill. And already 5 Sin Affinities is pretty crazy because usually like 4 is a lot, but having 5 is just kind of ridiculous. Like, there's no need to have 5 Sin Affinities, but she kind of just does anyway. So yeah, that's kind of cool. But yeah, so she's pretty strong. But yeah, we'll just go over it now. All right. Okay. So skill 1. Also, she's a discard ID. And so I guess I'll say, first of all, for anyone that doesn't know what usually makes discards so strong, is that if you have a skill 1 and a skill 2, and you use the skill 2, the skill 1 is just gone, and you don't have to use it. So you're just using your stronger skills more often. So discard is just a very strong mechanic to have, first of all. And then on top of that, her coin values are likely going to be pretty good as well, and her enhanced skill, which we'll get to very shortly. But yeah, so also on every skill she has, she seems to do an amount of both sinking and tremor, which I guess kind of complements her Arknight's collab ego, because that was sinking and tremor. So this ID is very fitting for that ego. Although usually in a status team, you kind of want to focus more on one or the other. So I guess we'll see once she's actually released, we'll see how the count and application is for each of those. But yeah, she has a lot of application. So she can potentially be very good in both. But obviously we'll know once the numbers are more set in stone. Okay, so once again, skill 1, discard, and it discards in the same skill slot. So it says if the other skill in the same skill slot is a different skill. So I think skill 1s can't discard skill 1s, apparently. Although we still have the clashable counter, the defense skill that you can automatically swap to not use a skill 1. But so skill 1s can't discard skill 1s. And it looks like skill 2s also can't discard like other skill 2s. Which, I mean, that's kind of new on a discard ID, but yeah, okay. So gain coin power for every X tremor plus sinking on target. So likely it's gonna go up to 2 because that would make sense. Because it's not gain coin power at, it's gain coin power for every. So likely it's gonna be something along the lines of like 3 base power, or okay, likely it's gonna be along the lines of 3 base power and 4 coin power, and then probably it's going to go up to 2 coin power, so then 3, 6, and 6, because that's just kind of the trend that IDs have been going with lately. If it's different, and if it's like 4, 4, and 4, or if it's something else, then that could potentially be stronger, since it is a Walpurgis ID. But if it goes the direction most IDs have been going with, it's going to be 3, 4 and 4, and then cap out at 3, 6, and 6. And skill 2 also is pretty similar, same conditional. So the skill 1 is more count, and then skill 2 is more potency. And then on the third hit, on hit, heal SP. So this Ishmael is actually very, very good SP wise with the passive as well. Because I think it's like on Tails hit she heals SP, but we'll get to that. Okay, so yeah, the skill 2 is likely gonna be either the standard 4 base power, 4 coin power, and then going up to the 4 base power, 6 coin power. So that's probably going to cap out at, what is it, like 22, I think? Unless they decide to make the coin value 3 and 5, or the base power 3 and the coin value 5, then that would be a little bit stronger, but I don't see why they would do that, because usually they only do that 3 base power, 5 coin power base coin if they increase like final power, or if they don't increase coin power a lot, because that's kind of like a trade-off that is pretty common. So it's probably just going to be 4 base power, 4 coin power, and then go up to 6 coin power, but that's still pretty strong if it goes up to 22. And it heals SP as well, so it's not like terrible, but it's just pretty standard. And then skill 3, okay, deal more damage based on bright, potency on self. So bright, I mean, we'll get to that soon, but it's basically what the cards are for in the preview trailer. And you kind of get it by just like cycling through your skills a bit, and also just over time. But we'll get to more of that soon. On use, if the other skill is the same skill, if the other skill in the same skill slot is a different skill, discard that skill. So yeah, I don't think any of these skills can discard the same type of skill. Like, they can't discard themselves. Discard that skill. On use, gain coin power forever. Yeah, so same conditional again. So although this could potentially gain, I mean, if we look at the other Ishmael skill 3, like if we look at Sway Ishmael, I know that's not a great like reference because of how strong she is, but that was 5 base power, 4 coin power, and then it gained up to 4 coin power. So if we can get that again, that would be very strong. Is it likely? I'm not really sure how likely that is. I mean, this Ishmael already competes very well count and application wise, although maybe not like tremor burst wise, although she does have a lot of other things that she does do. But if she's able to have damage as well, then she'll be able to more compete with Sway Ishmael. Because, I mean, I guess she has another thing that does a lot more damage, which we'll get to in one moment. But yeah, a lot of count, a lot of potency stuff. Well, there's one instance of potency, I don't know how much it is, and then there's 2 instances of count, so it's at least 2 count, at least. But yeah, some of them are on heads hit and some of them aren't. But it kind of varies around the entire kit, which one is heads hit, which one is not. But just assume that everything is heads hit for rating an ID, because it's kind of more valuable to rate a thing at its maximum potential. I mean, I feel like that's just pretty standard to do that. Deal more damage. Okay, yeah, we already read that. And then if target is in either amplitude conversion or amplitude entanglement states, this coin deals more damage. So that's kind of interesting, right? So either a tremor has to be, like a tremor conversion has to be active, or it has to be, well, yeah, always a tremor like conversion thing has to be active. So just when any tremor that's not the standard tremor is active, it's going to deal more damage. And if it's not in that state, then it goes into Tremor Decay, which was on Ufi Heathcliff. And I think it's kind of not super relevant currently because of, well, Reverb and Everlasting and a lot of other Tremor stuff. But it's not like bad by any means, but it's just not as relevant as other Tremor options. So there's that as well. Okay, now this skill, I think it has the potential to be the next Rip Space because it has 5 coins. It has 5 coins. It's an Envy nuke. It's slash damage, and it does a lot. Okay, so all right, let's start reading it. Unclashable, first of all. So the skill does not trigger defense skills, so counters won't be activated by it. And external effects cannot trigger the skill to be reused because that'd be a little bit overpowered. Or actually, I guess it wouldn't really matter in the first place. I mean, actually, no, I think it would. All right, on use at less than 3 bright, cancel the skill and gain attack power up next turn. So basically, this will never trigger when you don't have enough of the thing that gives it reuse. So let's just really quickly look at the coin for a sec. This coin. Reuse this coin, bright potency -1 times. And the maximum count, we can kind of, like, if you look at this, at 5 potency and not 5 plus potency, so 5 is likely the cap, and I think in the passives, I think it states that 5 is the cap as well. I'm kind of surprised they did that, but I mean, once they said 5 potency and not 5 plus, then people can kind of assume that it's going to be, the cap is 5. So 5 -1 is 4, and 4 reuses means 5 total coins. So that's pretty good. And so at less than 3 bright, if it's not using it, then that means that 3 is, so it has to be at 3 to be able to actually use this. And so when it's at 3, the minimum number of coins it's going to be able to use is going to be 3, because 3 -1 is 2. So 2 reuses means that 3 coins are being used in total. So it's always going to be 3 at a minimum. So it's never just going to hit with 1 coin. Now hopefully, since this is technically a single coin skill, hopefully it's going to have decent power. I mean, even if it's like 6 coin power, if it's 6 coin power or anything higher, like a minimum of 6, then it's going to be as strong as Rip Space, and it's that simple. Because it's just, like, because 6 times 5 is 30. And that is, wait, yeah, and Rip Space is, hey, hello. We are currently looking at the new IDs, and they're strong. Okay, so yeah, this one, yeah, and there's even more to this ID. At 3 plus bright potency, gain the following effects based on potency. Per 1 potency, deal more damage. Beat Earl King, second Earl King fight. Congratulations. Yeah, that's definitely good. Now you can actually get more lunacy from the rest of the story stuff. At 4 potency, gain base power, or at 4 plus potency, gain base power. So that's also good. At 5 potency, on hit with final reuse coin, trigger Tremor Burst, then reduce Tremor's count. Lucky easy. That's good. Yeah, so trigger Tremor Burst and then reduce Tremor count. It's kind of, like, it'd be better if it didn't reduce Tremor count, but if trigger Tremor's Burst, then it's fine. I don't remember, gonna be honest. Alright, skill end, all bright on self expires. Okay, yeah, so after you use the skill, then... Did she die because she took gold? Ooh, hard to say. Also, I'm gonna try to not, I'm gonna try to not discuss that in a in a review, because say someone's like new to the game and then they're seeing the they just want to see if a thing is good and then they see something about a character dying. I feel like that'd be kind of rough. But yeah, I don't know. Like Otis? Yeah, that's what a lot of people thought when they first saw her design, but I don't think Nelly is Otis because that wouldn't really make sense. But anyways, alright, so next turn, convert the suit in his hands to... Okay, hold on. All bright on self expires. Okay, so after you use the skill, you can't use it 2 times in a row because it's just not gonna work. So you have to re-get the bright stuff. Next turn, convert the suit in this unit's hand to a random suit that corresponds to one of the unit's base attack skills. So the unit's hand thing, like the suit thing, is for the second page. But the second page is after the first page, so we'll get to it. People from Reddit are so peak. Did you use a guide from Reddit to beat the stages? That's what I'm guessing happened so far. All right. Okay. So skill end, gain bright potency next turn equal to the number of coins that were unused. So basically, any bright that has been unused gets returned to you, which is very nice. That one thing has the envy shield, another enemy gets the shield, and if I kill the enemy, all other enemies die except Earl King. I did not understand that, but that sounds like it worked though. Is the new ID gonna be for Rolp? Yes. So this ID and this ID are both the Walpurgis IDs that the preview was revealed today, and they're going to be released in 2 days. But yeah, these are the Walp IDs. Okay, so heads hit, inflict defense level down. So if you do get all 5 coins to hit heads, that's just 5 defense level down. And if it's more, then it's more than that. But like, inflicting defense level down along with having a 5 coin skill is pretty big. Because like 5 coin skill is already a lot of damage, and with defense level down is just even more. So that's just very strong. And then the clashable counter. I mean, counters used to suck, but clashable counters are very good because they clash. And like the fact that they clash is like, it basically just gives you an extra skill, which is crazy. Oh my god, it might be back. Okay, sounds good. Have fun. Clashable counter. The 6 was so peak. I know. It was amazing. Anyways, alright. Take your time. Okay, yeah, clashable counter is just... Clashable counters are good. It's just a free skill. Like, it's basically an alternate skill 1 sometimes. Like, if the values are similar, which they usually are, sometimes it's even stronger than the skill 1. And the fact that it's just a different affinity for free, like, it is just good. And then there's also the discard element as well, which is kind of more the focus of this ID. So this ID is actually pretty specific about the way it discards, but we'll go over this ID, or this skill first. Okay, so combat start, discard X skills of the lowest rank. So I'm gonna guess it's 2, because if it was 3, that wouldn't really make sense. Because imagine you have 2 slots, right? And it says discard X skills of the lowest rank. I mean, maybe it could be 3. I would guess it would be 2 though. But I mean, it could be 3. But of the lowest rank, so probably to get rid of skill 1s if you have like 4 skill 1s at a time. That would kind of suck. I mean, unless there's a strat with that, but I don't know about that yet. In all this unit's skill slot. Combat start, if the skill was equipped on the unit's leftmost skill slot, next turn convert the suit in this unit's hand on self to a random card suit that corresponds to one of this unit's base attack skills. Okay, so there's a lot about suits and hands, which we'll get to in like 5 seconds. Combat start, X% chance to gain bright potency. So that sounds good, right? Because you need that. On use, gain coin power for every X bright potency itself. So that's kind of difficult, although that also means that it gains up to 5 coin power. So that could be strong, although bright does have a count, and inflict sinking, inflict tremor is kind of whatever. But we'll get to the second page now. Okay, so first let's just look at this passive, because this is ridiculous. On tails hit, heal SP. That's just the simplest passive, and it's amazing. Deal more damage against targets in either low morale or panic states. That's like, I feel like that doesn't happen very often, so it's not like super important. But like the fact that you're healing SP is good, but like the low morale and panic states, I feel like they don't really happen that often on the enemy side. Like it just doesn't seem too impactful, but on tails hit, heal SP is also like that's good. I mean, the thing is, when you're at max SP, I guess it might be kind of not super helpful, but it should help in like ramping up. Like especially if you're in like, I mean, how many situations is it good in? Like I guess if you're in like story mode, right, you'd kind of need to be in a dungeon, and then after like resetting everyone's health to 0, or not health to 0, everyone's SP to 0, then if you have the resources, then it should just be pretty good. I mean, unless you need resonance for it, which would be not great. Hopefully it'll be fine. Support passive is also pretty simple. Combat start, when one ally with the least SP uses a base attack skill to heads hit, it heals SP. So more just SP support, I guess, which isn't terrible, but it's not like, I mean, it's fine for some IDs, but it's not like super necessary nowadays. But it is pretty decent support. All right. Now for this passive, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I low-key kind of forgot that the other passive exists as a passive. But okay, so the other passive, the passive that's probably gonna be more impactful, well, the most impactful. Turn start, if this unit does not have bright, gain 0 potency and +3 bright count. So I think it always has at least, well, it always has bright count, but potency, not always. Potency it has to gain. And yeah, you can see over here, potency, base 0, max 5, count, base 3, max 3. Turn start, gain offense level up based on potency, turn start, always count. So pretty simple, right? All right, so let's go over the hand things first, because it's gonna make the rest of it a lot easier to understand. So let's just call it red yellow, and blue, because, I mean, it's red, yellow, and blue. I think it's just a lot simpler that way. Okay, so red. Skill 1 gains base power, and also that the red, yellow, and blue corresponds with the skill 1, skill 2, skill 3 as well, which is very relevant. Okay, so red, skill 1 gains base power. When this unit equips and uses a wrath-based attack skill or ego skill on its leftmost skill slot, activate the forming a hand effects. So forming a hand is, and it's basically the same for all of these skills. All of them are basically the same thing, but it basically just, when you have red hand, when your hand is red and you use a red skill, then you get forming a hand. And when you have yellow and you use yellow, then you get forming a hand. And they kind of empower their respective skill. So red empowers the red, yellow empowers the yellow, and blue empowers the yellow. No, blue empowers the blue. That's what I meant to say. And so all that basically means, well, we'll get to it as well. Okay, so there's also the final part to read as well. So, all right. Turn start if this unit does not have a suit in hand, get a random suit. Okay. We got red, yellow, or blue. That corresponds to the basic attack on this unit's leftmost skill slot. Combat start. When this unit uses a base attack skill or an ego skill from its leftmost skill slot, activate the following. Next turn, convert the hand on self to one corresponding to, hold on. Next turn, convert the hand on self. Let me make this larger. Hold on a minute. Next turn, convert the hand on self to one corresponding to the used skill's affinity. Sorry, that was hard to read. If the skill was either, which one is that? Sakura Sen, which I think is the skill 3. Yeah, that's a skill 3. Or an ego skill, gain bright potency. Okay, so the blue suit can be activated by either, well, I guess all of them can be activated by an ego skill of matching thing. All right, yeah, never mind about that. Okay, so actually, I guess that kind of also adds value to specific egos as well, which is pretty interesting. Which I guess is further value to the Arcanite's Collab ego since it's a gloom skill, as well as tremor sinking, but because it's a gloom also, it's pretty important. Alright, so if this skill's affinity matches the affinity on the current hand's description, thus forming a hand, activate the following. Gain bright potency. If this unit formed a hand last turn and this turn in succession, gain bright potency. So I think it gains up to 2 at a time, right? Or I guess 3 is maximum, I would guess. But yeah, all right. So on hit with said skill, trigger Tremor Burst, then reduce tremor count. So on hit with the said skill. So I guess when you are doing the, like, when you are forming a hand, you trigger Tremor Burst, no matter what the skill is, I'm guessing. So I'm guessing if you line up all your skill 1s, you can just have a constant stream of spamming Tremor Burst every single turn. Although I don't know how effective that is, but that could be a strategy potentially. X% chance to gain ego resources corresponding to the skill's affinity. At the skill's skill end, at 5 bright potency or at 0 bright count, use Kozan. I think, I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's the, what am I moving? That is the enhanced skill 3, or the rip space 2, which hopefully should be pretty decent. And I have a feeling it's going to be pretty decent, personally. I have faith. I mean, same amount of coins as rip space, but you get to do it for free, and it's unclashable. And it also applies defense level down. That can be pretty good. Actually is, let me look at this passive again. On hit with said skill. Okay, so on hit with Tremor Burst. So that's actually, imagine 2 Tremor Bursts every turn. I mean, it would eat through count, but like, that has some potential. On hit with said skill. That could be pretty interesting if you have a line of skill 1s and just constantly Tremor Burst, Tremor Burst, Tremor Burst, Tremor Burst, Tremor Burst. That would be interesting. But yeah. So that's kind of all for Ishmael. Now on to Knight Awls Capitano Gregor. Okay, so I think the main thing that stood out to me about this ID was the fact that he seemed very much to look like he could be a support ID. And like, the thing is, like, support IDs are pretty, like when you think of support ID, there's one ID that should come to mind, and that is N-Corp Faust. And N-Corp Faust is one of the support IDs of all time. I mean, she was so focused on being a support ID that she didn't really do any damage herself. Like, her skill 2 was her strongest skill. But, like, she did her job, and she did it well. Like, she increased the entire team's damage for, I mean, what was it? It was either 1 or 2 turns by 20% for pierce and blunt damage. Had paralyze and healed SP for everyone. Well, healed SP for the lowest SP. But she was a very, very good support for a long time. But now this doesn't really provide the same benefits. I mean, yeah, he definitely doesn't provide the same benefits, but he is still very strong in his own way, right? Because I'm pretty sure he applies bind as well as, is it defense level down? I don't actually remember. I mean, okay, so he basically, I think he follows up attacks from other people up to 2 times per turn, as well as inflicting bind. So he's not like an insane support, but he like supports people while it looks like he still does his own damage, which is the main thing. Because a 3-coin skill 2 and a 4-coin skill 3 tell me that he should hopefully at least be holding his own weight, and that he's not gonna forget to do damage while helping other people as well. So he's more of like a DPS support than like not doing any damage and just increasing everyone else's damage. Because he kind of just like is setting other people up for, I mean, also especially in haste teams, because he gets haste and he applies bind. So if someone needs to be faster, like the sync IDs, or maybe the haste show even, like he should be very strong in speed teams. And all right, let's start going over that. And he has a lot less to read, I'm pretty sure. So it should be a little bit faster. Okay. On use, gain haste next turn. On use, gain coin power for every X bleed plus tremor on target. So he is also bleed plus tremor. And when I try to think of other bleed plus tremor, I think of is N-Corp Ryoshu bleed and tremor? I think she is for some reason. And I don't really know any other bleed plus tremor IDs, to be honest. But yeah, he's got bleed and tremor. So that's that. So inflict tremor, inflict bleed, and inflict open wound. And I think that is potentially... I think that if he builds up open wound, then it will eventually start inflicting bind over time. But we'll get to that. Okay. Unclashable. So this is kind of the extra skill that it's not like, doesn't look super strong, but inflict bleed, inflict tremor, inflict open wound, gain haste next turn. And it also has some interesting passives, like skill does not trigger defense skills and cannot gain ego resources. So people can't counter it. It's just an extra attack. It doesn't really interact with anything else. It's just more attacks and damage. Gain coin power for every X% missing HP on the enemy core. So a lot of these passives he has are about missing HP on the enemy core. So like I'm guessing if it's like a part that doesn't matter, it's not gonna be like as effective as, well, it won't be as effective as it will be with the core, because a lot of them have core in parentheses. Deal more damage based on the enemy core's HP lost. So like this is very similar to like why Chef Ryoshu was so good, because she scaled with damage the more HP was missing from an enemy, and that was a pretty easy passive to, or a pretty easy condition to meet, and it's like it's just more free damage basically, like that's just a very simple for a very simple condition to meet, and it can be pretty strong if it lets you do enough damage. If the enemy core's HP is less than Z%, deal more damage. So yeah, that's pretty good. Alright. On use, gain haste next turn. And we already read that. Okay. So if target has X plus bleed plus tremor, gain coin power. So because if this says, well, because it says if target has X plus that gain coin power, and not for every X plus that gain coin power, that kind of makes me think that this is going to be a 3 base power and 5 coin power at the start, and might gain 1 coin power. If it gains 2, that would be nice, but it's probably just going to be 1 coin power, so like 3 and 5 to 3 and 6, so then it's going to end up rolling a 21. Unless this rolls 4, 5, 5, and 5, and then it would roll 22 with 1 coin power. But I don't think that's very likely. I think it's more likely that it would be 3 and 5. Because just like kind of the way the trend goes with these IDs, kind of makes me think that that's how it's going to turn out. And this is kind of interesting. Clash Win, inflict tremor and trigger tremor burst, and reduce tremor count. Reduce tremor count, not like great, but it's always there. But Clash Win, inflict tremor burst is that, I don't think I've seen that on an ID before. If it is on one, then I haven't paid attention to it. Like maybe one of the more recent tremor IDs it might be on, but yeah, for the most part, that should be good. But yeah. Execution. Okay, 4 coin skill. A lot of them are 4 base power, 3 coin power. Although this says if target has X plus blue plus tremor, gain coin power. So kind of makes you think, is it 4 base and 3 power? Or is it higher base with 3 power? Or is it 4 base, 4 coin power? And then would it go up to 5 with the conditional met? Like, I'm not really sure. But, yeah. Oh yeah, also on the skill too, something I missed was the 3rd coin hit. If the enemy's core HP is less than X%, or if the target has fatal wound, use the extra skill again. So, like, a lot of this is based on like enemy health. And the closer they are to being killed, the more damage so basically he finishes off enemies at low HP is kind of what he's made for. So that's good. And so on his skill 3, okay, if the target has deep wound, and a deep wound I think you get by just inflicting open wound enough times. I think it's 3. I'm gonna take a sip of water really quick. Alright, so yeah, when the target has deep wound, activate the enhanced version. On use, if target has X plus bleed plus tremor. So yeah, bleed and tremor I feel like isn't super common, like having them together. Gain coin power. So yeah, Clash Wind inflicts tremor and trigger tremor burst, which again is on the skill 2 as well, so it's on half the kit is what that means. So that's just a lot of tremor burst, but also tremor count being reduced. So that's going to be interesting to balance out. Although I think count isn't like a huge issue on tremor, at least, because there's plenty of sources of count. At least I think there is. On hit inflict bleed. On hit inflict tremor and tremor count. Inflict open wound. And now this is interesting. Trigger amplitude conversion into tremor hemorrhage. So using him with Ishmael is going to be kind of weird, because unless you have like 2 bosses, it's just going to be kind of weird, unless it's on like separate parts. But it's still kind of weird to have 2 things with amplitude conversion being released at once and then being different amplitude conversions, because it's kind of like, why, you know? So that's kind of weird. Trigger tremor burst, reduce tremor count. On hit, if the target is staggered or has fatal wound, or if the enemy's core HP is less than X%, use the extra skill. Alright, that's pretty basic. And now the enhanced skill is 4 unbreakable coins, which is not bad, right? Deal more damage for every X haste on self plus bind on target. And he does a decent amount of bind with his, what is it? Open wound and whatever, like all that stuff. But that's more in the passive part, which is not too long. But yeah. If the target has shield, deal more damage. In focus encounters, the core or parts deal more damage based on the enemy core's HP lost. Okay. If the enemy core HP is less than a certain percentage, deal even more damage instead. So basically a lot of it's revolving around how low the enemy already is. And the lower it is, the more damage it's going to do. So basically he's made to finish off an enemy. So it kind of feels weird that he has haste when it feels like he should be the one finishing off an enemy at the end of a turn. So that does feel kind of weird to have him be a haste ID and be going so quickly. Although, who knows, maybe he has a really slow base speed and needs the haste. But whoever knows, it's not me as of right now because the ID didn't release yet. So yeah. Deal more damage based on the enemy. Of course, we already did that. Do more damage instead. We read that as well. Okay, on use, inflicts defense level down. So this is another reason why I think of him as a support ID. Defense level down. Like, he doesn't have a lot of it, but the fact that he has it is pointing towards him increasing everyone's damage overall. On use, gain coin power for every Y bleed plus tremor. So this looks like it's going to be a lot stronger than the other version, like a lot, because it gains coin power for every instead of gaining a set limited amount. I mean, yeah, it's going to be limited, but I think the limit is going to be higher than the other version. Clash Wind inflicts tremor and tremor burst. On hit, bleed and bleed count. On hit, tremor and tremor count. On hit, amplitude conversion, tremor hemorrhage. So yeah, that kind of does the same thing as the other one, the other skill 3, but it's probably just gonna do a lot more damage. Well, also, okay, and it also has, if the target has bind, trigger tremor burst, and it also has on hit, convert target's deep wound into fatal wound. So I think the cycle is open wound, deep wound, fatal wound is probably how it's going to go. And then the defense skill, okay, actually I guess you can do 1 of the extra attack per turn, but the defense skill bumps it up to 2. So normally you can only do 1 of the extra skill per turn, but the defense skill bumps it up to 2. So it's not, so hopefully, I mean, there's nothing else too much to gain. Gain haste next turn. On use, gain coin power for every X bleed plus tremor. That's interesting. Clash Wind, inflicts tremor. So I mean, I guess it inflicts tremor, but the guard I don't think is gonna be too worth it overall. I mean, it's just a guard. There's nothing too special about it or anything aside from inflicting tremor. That's about it. I mean, yeah, it gives you haste, but because it gives you one more of the extra skill, but I don't even know how much damage that's going to do, and if that's really going to be worth it or not. So it's not like anything crazy is going on with the guard, so it's not too interesting. All right, now let's pull up the second page for Gregor. Okay, so, oh, that's the wrong thing, hold on. All right, here it is. Okay. Painless Mercy. Unless reused via external effects, the extra skill can be used up to 2 times per turn. Okay, so it can be used up to 2 times per turn. So, what was the point of the defense skill again? Hold on, let's read that again. Let's, when triggered by the effects of that for this turn, increase the number of times the extra skill can be used when triggering the effect to 2 per turn. So, now, what is the point of that defense skill again? I don't really know. Oh, okay. That it applies to this next passive skill. Okay. When this unit kills an enemy or breaks apart, gain Pierce power up next turn. When using a base attack skill, if this unit's faster than the target, inflict defense power down. Okay, so more defense power down on the target based on speed difference. So more defense power down. And defense power down basically means that everyone is doing more damage to it, and not just like specific attack types or anything like that. So I think he might be a pretty good generalist support, which we haven't really had one in a while, since I guess Enfaust. But yeah, because I guess supports haven't really been super necessary, but kind of just nice to have. On the target, based on speed difference, after ally attack using base attack skills, if the enemy core HP is less than X%, use the extra skill on target. So I guess how many times can you do the extra attack per turn? Is it 2 plus 1 plus the guard? So it sounds like a lot, right? But like that's 4. Potentially. That's potentially 4 right there. I mean, 2 is already fine, but if he's getting 4 extra attacks per turn, that's kind of ridiculous. I don't know about that. I mean, if he is, then that's not bad at all. Aim for the gap. I mean, especially because especially when you like hit an enemy and you get it to like 8 HP and you just need 1 hit to finish it off, this ID would do the job. If there's 1 surviving enemy after attack, this passive also activates when the target is staggered. Okay. Okay, support passive. 1 ally with the highest speed when using base attack skill. This unit's speed is faster than the main target's. Inflict defense power down on the target based on speed difference. Okay. That's good. Open wound. Max stack 2, turn end, gain bind next turn. So when you apply open wound, you're just infinitely going to be applying bind. Turn end at X stack. Replace this effect with deep wound next turn. Well, since the max stack is 2 and it's at X stack, it's likely going to be at 2 stack, right? Replace this effect with deep wound next turn. Base stack 3. When Tremor Burst is triggered on this unit, gain bleed count. Cannot gain open wound in focus encounters. The part. Okay, so you can apply open wound to something with deep wound, which is kind of makes sense. And then turn end, gain stack -Y, bind next turn. So what does that mean? Well, I don't know. Could it be stack -1? It could be, and it might be. Turn end, reduce stack. Okay. So more bind for free. Okay, and now fatal wound, max stack 3. When Tremor Burst is triggered on this unit, gain bleed count. Okay. Cannot gain open wound and focus encounters the part. Turn ends, gain bind equal to stack next turn. So more bind. Turn end, reduce stack. So him damage wise, like when he's attacking targets, he's going to be inflicting defense power down, and the status he applies gives bind, slowing the target. So that is why I think he's going to be a support ID, because he kind of already, like he's lined up perfectly to be a support ID, but not in like the traditional sense of like buffing everyone's damage, more of like finishing off enemies that everyone else is getting to low HP, as well as just slowing the enemy. So it's like a support ID, but just not in the ways that people would originally think of, like healing everyone and buffing everyone. He kind of is like just doing his own thing, but he's in the end still helping the team, just not in the most direct ways. But yeah, he is still, I would call him a support ID because of all of these things. Like, I think it would be very valid to call him a support ID, because that very much seems like what he is. And yeah, that's that. Okay, so yeah, those are kind of all my thoughts on those IDs. I think personally, I'm a lot more excited for the Ishmael ID for 2 reasons. One, her mechanics, I think, just to look very... Well, I guess the Gregor mechanics also look pretty interesting. But I really want to see how strong her enhanced skill 3 is going to be. Because that can potentially be very strong. Like, it's basically another rip space. 5 coin, skill 3, envy / with defense level down as well. So hopefully it can outdamage rip space potentially. Will it outdamage rip space? Maybe. I think because it's a Walpurgis ID, it's more likely that that can happen. I mean, I hope it's going to happen because I just really think it would be cool. And also, 5 Sin Affinities is pretty crazy. Like, even if you're not using any of her mechanics at all, like, I guess you kind of have to do the... you kind of have to do the thing with the suit and hand things to be able to get enough bright so you are able to use the enhanced skill 3 without... Well, it's not even an enhanced skill 3, it's just a bonus skill. Right, like, because it has no relation to the skill 3 whatsoever. So I don't really want to call it an enhanced skill 3, even though it says that it is one. It's just a good skill. Like, it basically might as well be called skill 4 at this point, because that's what it is, to be honest. Like, it's not an enhanced skill 3, it's just an extra skill. Like, it doesn't even replace the skill 3 or anything. She just activates it when she has enough bright or when the count runs out. The thing about the count is that it does seem like she needs enough of it to be able to actually activate it. It's like if it's not 3 or above, then it's just not going to activate. So you do kind of have to play with her mechanics a bit to be able to get it to work. But, I mean, her skills do look pretty strong. I think even without the skill 4, basically, she already has pretty good coverage affinity-wise. And, like, application-wise, she should be pretty good. But, yeah, and also tremor burst-wise as well. Because Zwei Ishmael wasn't really bursting a whole lot of tremor. But this, if she, like, if people use her hand forming stuff correctly, I think it can do some pretty crazy tremor burst. Does she have a sloth skill? I'm gonna check if she has a sloth, or sloth ego, I mean. Because I don't know if she... Oh, she has the... She's a tremor. She's the Christmas one. Okay, the thing is that's a he ego. Which is gonna be kind of difficult to use with the collab ego, because the collab ego is also he ego. Although she does have Gloom base ego and a Teth ego as well. And she has Wrath. She has Wrath from... what is it? She has Wrath from the Season 2 pass. So that she can use. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what combinations people come up with her, or come up for her. But yeah, I'm gonna drink water again. Sorry about that. All right. that's my bad. All right. Yeah. So Ishmael also, her design also just looks amazing. And Gregor, yeah, he also looks very cool. And yeah, he, like, just finishing off low health enemies also is a pretty cool mechanic, that, or would be a cool mechanic to see, like, when it comes out. Or not would, will be a cool mechanic to see, if that is what he does, at least. But yeah, aside from being a good support ID and probably having a lot more modern numbers than other support IDs, and Corp Faust. Yeah, so he should be pretty good at dealing his own damage, especially since his coins also look pretty good. Although, I mean, the skill 3 not enhanced might be kind of weird to use. But, I mean, both of them look like they're going to be pretty fun to use. So, yeah, I think it's definitely going to be... I mean, I'm obviously definitely going to pull for them. I think I have potentially enough lunacy to do so. But, yeah. Alright, that's going to be all for now. And, yeah. Now I'll probably, when they release, make another stream going over, like, the coin values and more of, like, the numbers and stuff. And I'm gonna be pulling them on release, most likely. So that is gonna be fun. And yeah. Yeah, that's kind of all. Well, that's... Yeah, I think that's everything that I want to go over. Alright, see ya.